Hello, this is me, Jesse James, and I'm doing a video about some old cameras I've got. This is a test video for the Canon EOS 550D. This is 1080, 25 frames per second. So I got some old cameras, so I thought I might as well do a thing where I'll just show these really old cameras off. These are film cameras from way back. So if I start with I'll have to do a bit of manual focusing because it doesn't really do autofocus. Well, it does, but it's not very good. So, so we'll zoom in a little bit. This is the 109 from Yashica, and it has a lens on it, obviously, and 35 to 70 or something like that. I'll zoom out again. These took film, so what you do is, if you want to, if you hear any thunder, it's because it's thundering outside. It's bloody. It's been doing it all day long. I've got this thing plugged into the mains. This camera I'm running here. I'm not running it on the bloody battery. Right, there's the. That is the back of the shutter. It's raining outside now. So I'm doing this. And it needs batteries to operate. This is where the film goes, obviously. Anyone who doesn't know. For digital you have film. So, and it has a lens on it, which is Yashica Contax mount. So yeah, there's that one. I ain't got any batteries. I do have batteries to put in it, but I could put batteries in it. I don't know. No, you don't open it. No, you do. Listen, just random buttons. What? Positive. It's basically it's like an auto. I'm worried about the thunder and lightning because I've got it's plugged into the mains. If we get a power spike, I'll blow the bloody thing up. Does it work? Sorry, focus. I keep forgetting to manually focus this bloody thing. Where am I? There I am. How do you turn it on then? It's on, is it, apparently? It's probably flat. The batteries may be flat. Well, that was a waste of time, wasn't it? I have to try and get some batteries and put it in there. That doesn't really do anything. Here's an older version of the same camera, so you got different model here. FX3, they did an FX3 Super 2000 back in 1987 or something. This is a bit earlier. This one has this really bad leatherette on it which comes off, which is funny. And again, same thing, it's opens up and you can see the inside of the film shutter. This is a manual one, so we don't need batteries to operate the shutter. When you do that, it's a bit sticky, this lever doesn't. There we are. You take a shot. Older cameras than this had cloth shutters which were prone to mould and wore out quicker and were just not as good, and they started making these electronic metal focal plane ones in the mid 80s, early 80s. It's got a top shutter speed of 1/1000. She just turned the dial there. So it's pretty basic stuff. It's just before digital you had film, and that's one of those. So there's the two Yashicas. Here's a nice one. This is a Ricoh, and this one is got a long lens on it. Trombone zoom. Basically, the way you do it is you focus with the same ring that you zoom with, but the problem is if you want to go, I think that's, is it wide? No, you want to go telephoto when you point it up. It will basically drop down under gravity, and then the same if you want to do that, and it goes like that under gravity. So it's a bit rubbish. Cheaper design and everything. So you just do that. And the rewind lever band fell off. You get the back open on that then. Unless you press that button there. No. I can't get the back open unless you pull it. Normally you just put, that's it, you put it like that. It opens and you got the, again it's another metal one. These are sort of mid-80s these are. Yeah, I'm a wide angle there, I don't mean to be. Program. Back of the focal plane shutter thing, and you just wind it like that. Almost touch this wax, and that's what those marks are. As you go down the range, and it's like up the range it makes it fast. It's covered in dust. Ricoh KR-5. A long lens. That's a, what is that? That's a Chinon. It's a Pentax K mount. They did their own versions of these. 75 to 150. It's quite a big zoom actually. That. Then you got the. I had one of these for a brief time. It's basically a Pentax K mount camera with lots of features on it. It's kind of an aspiring kind of Nikon FE, FM type camera. It kind of models itself on that, or one of the Pentax K1000 type cameras. And depth of field preview, that's what that is. So you can see the depth of field. You've got your film speed dial. What you do is you put your, say you buy 400 ISO film, or ASA, that was the American Standards Association, and they changed it to the International Standards Organization, early 90s I think. And basically that's just a setup for your film speed. Your ISO these days, you just boost it up or down or whatever. And so you got 200, it would calibrate the meter for 200 ISO films, so it would give you the correct exposure. Goes all the way to 3200, so it makes it more sensitive, or goes to the bottom and makes it very much less sensitive. But later on what they did was they had a thing called DX coding, and they put a little pattern on the film canister, and it would read it automatically. You wouldn't have to type it in like that. This one, these batteries, they have these little, what do you call these? Little battery cells, which they don't work without, so I'll show you the shutter. Unless it does, no it doesn't, it might do B setting. No, it doesn't, you need batteries to work that, so that's the back of that. And it's got threaded things, so you can put a cable release, so you can take a picture without, you press this little thing, I've got one somewhere. Press it, and instead of touching the body and you get camera shot, you just press the thing and it pushes a little piece of metal into that hole. If the buttons fell off there, that's the lock, and that was to stop that from accidentally being turned, I think that was. I've got a couple more here, cameras. This is an Olympus, this is broken, the bloody thing doesn't work. I think it's an OM2. It's a pro end type camera. Flip back a little bit so you can see it better. And that is completely knackered. It's got very tight. You put the shutter speeds here. And what you do with this is you have the lens on top of that, on the mount there, and then you'd turn that. But it's bloody stiff. That is. I never liked this style of doing that. I never thought much of that. I can't even get the back off because the thing's broken off there. And these use mercury cells or something or other. There was this weird batteries you get, but they don't make them anymore because they're bad for the environment. So yeah, I think they did alternatives in the mid-90s onwards. This dates from the early 80s. It's got a weird thing. It's got like this. I think that one is this one. The OM1n. has this weird, that's not a, I can't really show it. I have to focus it in a minute. It looks like a QR code, but it's like basically what they did was, it's like the pattern reflects into the sensor and then it gives an average reading that's really reliable for the metering. It looks like a QR code, it's really weird. It dates from like 1981 or something, this does. Very late 70s, early 80s. It's weird that. It's like it's on the back of the shutter, it's very strange. This, but incidentally, the camera I'm using to record has a 12-minute limit on the HD recording. So I have to be aware of that. Or just stop recording and I'll have to start recording again, which is annoying. So Olympus OM series was Pro spec, so they were really high end. It's the top. Where you'd normally have the shutter speed dial on most of the cameras of this era, you get this film speed, I think it is, or something, or exposure compensation. I think that's what that is. Auto, off, and manual mode, and then an optional button things to put the hot shoe on, which is nice. Right, so that was an edit because the camera stopped recording. So basically, if you want to open the back of the thing up, oh, damn, I'm getting the kind of bloody focus it and everything. Can't get the back up. Oh, there it is. Okay, so what you've got here, this is a cloth shutter. So what you've got here, and I will show that if I go zoom as close as I can. It's a cloth one. I don't know if this will work. I think it's frozen. It's completely bust. This is knackered. This is. Yeah, it's got a cloth shutter. I don't know why. I think it was just that way that they made them years and years ago. So that's got a cloth shutter on it. I'll just zoom out for that. And metal. So your film goes in there, and you pull it out. You thread it into this. Across the sprockets, that's why I have the sprocket holes on it, little holes at the top and bottom on the film, and then it goes into this slot and you basically wind that over and then eventually shut the back, and when you shut the back it pulls the film out of the thing, and then you take your shots and you rewind it with the little handle like that, and that's a bit old school. And then when you've rewound it, you take you're at the back, take the film out, and then you process it, send it for processing, and then you get your pictures back about 6 years later, and then you go, oh, I don't remember taking that, it didn't come out very well. I had an OM1n, which is a budget model of one of these,